That was the 23rd of January 2001. I've been in China already more than 20 years because we had that impression that the Chinese are cheaters. After all, it all became to be the wrong perception. But I have to admit, I was a bit afraid to come to China. And the first impression is, hey, they have people here who like people, who respect people. Hey, welcome to Chocolate Paradise.
欢迎来到比利时巧克力店。
Welcome back to another episode of Living in China. If you're here for the first time and you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Be part of the family. Like this video, comment down below. In this video, I have another man that has lived in China for years, for over 20 years, and he decided to share his experiences living in China. Let's enjoy this video as I sit down with the man, Filip, to share his experiences living in China as a foreigner doing business.
Is the tree of life. As you can see, the ring goes on and on and on and on. And you have...
Okay, sir, welcome to Blessings World.
Yeah, thank you.
By the way, I'm Kwesi. What's your name?
I'm Filip. My English name is Filip.
Filip. And where do you come from?
I'm from Belgium, Europe, the center of Europe.
Right. And you live and work in China now?
Yes, I've been in China already more than 20 years. Still remembering the very first steps I made in China. Because you have to know, before that I have been to 36 other countries for working and for traveling. But my first steps in China, I immediately said, this is my country.
Wow, so your first time in China, you said, this is my country.
I don't know why. Now I start to figure out why it is. But I remember very well that was a very strong feeling that I had. We can do a lot here in China.
That was which year? If you can still remember, which year was that?
That was the 23rd of January 2001.
Wow, wow. Okay, now what was your perception about China before you came to China first?
Yeah, this is kind of delicate to say, but I thought they were manipulating people, making them as slaves, that the people were, like a little bit like criminals, cheating, because we had that impression that the Chinese are cheaters. After all, it all became to be the wrong perception. But I guess that was what I had before. I was a little bit afraid the first time to come to China, because I had been working all over Asia, all over Europe, all over America. I have to admit, I was a bit afraid to come to China.
You were a bit afraid to come to China at that time?
Yeah, I thought it was too huge of a challenge for me to cope with business-wise.
Okay, so when you got to China, your first impression about China when you got here years ago?
Yeah, that was, my God, this is my country, as I said. And the first impression is, hey, they have people here who like people, who respect people, and who, can really make teams. I come from Europe, where there's between the people a lot of competition. And, they have to do a lot of team building in order to make the people work together. Here in China, it is a very natural thing that people work in teams and that people realize from themselves, hey, I'm just a part of the team, but if I don't perform well, then the team will not perform well.
Right.
Because the team is weakest in its weakest point. That was the first experience I had.
Okay, so which cities have you lived in your life in China over the years?
It started in Shenzhen.
Okay.
I also lived a little bit in Hong Kong, but that was just briefly in the transition phase. First I was in Shenzhen. Then I moved to Guangzhou, many years. Then I moved back to Shenzhen. And then I moved to Dongguan. And now I'm in Weihai. When I retired, when I retired, we looked for a place which is nice for living, you know, and we came to Weihai.
Okay. So are you married to a Chinese person or someone from your country?
No, Chinese.
Chinese person. Yeah. And how long have you guys been married?
Next January, 5 years.
5 years. Okay. All these years in China, what have you been doing? Have you been doing this chocolate business, or you were doing different kind of businesses that you switched to chocolate business?
Chocolate is just a hobby we do now the last 3 years.
Okay.
It's because I'm retired, and so we had to do something with our time. I have traveled too much in my life, and my wife doesn't like too much traveling. So normally when you retire, you go out traveling. But we didn't do that. So we were looking for another hobby. And that was a very nice one. I was with my wife in Bruges, in Belgium, a very small city, but very nice city. And every street has there 3 or 4 or 5 chocolate shops.
Okay.
And we were walking there, and my wife said, we will do chocolate in China. And that was decided. You know, this is also China. You know, if you have an idea, the moment itself you decide, and the moment yourself you start to implement it.
Right.
So I immediately took the phone and took the internet and tried to find a school. That was around Christmas, so everything was closed. But I tried to find a school which was open at that period. Okay. And the 3rd of January, we could go to a school and follow classes. So I gave her, very expensive by the way, but who cares? and then she followed classes, and then at home in the cellar, we bought some machines, we bought some tools and so on, and then she was experimenting with making chocolate.
Okay.
And that was so nice that year in September, we went back to Belgium to follow more classes, and then the January afterwards we opened the business. So we also had 1 year of preparation, of training, of experimenting, of learning ourselves how to make chocolates before we really opened the business.
Okay, so this is your first chocolate business in China. You have other branches in other cities?
No, we don't want to. As I said, I'm retired, so we just want to have a happy life, the 2 people together, my wife and me, and do something. And if we can earn some money from it, that's okay. But you have to know, every week there are people coming here and say, hey, we can cooperate and we can make a big business, and this is a very nice concept, this is very nice chocolate. We don't have this in China. Also people from Beijing coming over especially
for this chocolate,
to look if we can do business together. But then we very calmly says, hey, sorry, we don't have the ambition to make it a big business. If we're happy, and our focus is, if the people come here and they leave that room with a smile on their face, then
that is what is important to you.
Even if they don't buy anything of chocolate, they have to leave with a smile on their face. That's our target.
That's so beautiful to know. That's good words from you. Are there any challenges as a foreigner doing business in China? Did you face any challenges before setting up this beautiful place?
As a consultant before, yes. This chocolate shop, no. Maybe there are some, no, not really challenges. Of course, maybe there is one. That's the import of the raw materials.
Okay.
From Belgium. I use the molds, the machines, the tools, and the raw material chocolate I buy from Belgium. For the molds and the machines, there were no problems. You pay a little bit of import taxes and so on.
Okay.
But nowadays, the raw materials, for instance, now again, there is a container in Shanghai, in the harbor from Shanghai, waiting for approval to be imported already many weeks. So that's a challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want to tell other people, other foreigners in China or people outside China who want to come to China to do business and they have so many perceptions about China? What do you want to tell them?
You can ask difficult questions. First of all, I would say, if in the West you have been successful,
right,
and you're a very good manager and making a good career and so on, don't come to China.
Okay.
You will fail in China. China is not a competitive world amongst the people. No, in the US, Europe, you have to be really competitive to make a career.
Right.
In China, you don't. So I see that very, very frequently. Companies who have their best guy, to say, in Europe or US, they send them to China and they fail, time after time. When I was a consultant, I have been consultant during 17 years. I had to clean up a lot of those mess created by those guys who come here with, a lot of... If you want to come to China, learn the history of China. Learn, for instance, what Confucius has said and done. Learn about Mao Zedong. Learn about Lao Tzu. And maybe learn about Mao Zedong, because for me, Mao Zedong has done two great achievements. First of all he has brought China together as one people. Wherever you go in China, 1.4 billion people now, they all say, I'm Chinese.
Right.
And if you have a look at Belgium, Belgium is only 10 million people. And they all say, hey, I'm not Belgium, I'm Flemish. I'm not Belgium, I'm Walloon. But then you come here, that's an achievement from Mao Zedong. And the other achievement from Mao Zedong is that he has found a political system which matches the Chinese culture very well. So you have to study first what that political structure is. When I see people coming here, foreigners coming here, and then they start to complain about the government or start to complain about whatever, then I say they won't stay long here because they don't understand
the system.
The political system is a very good match with the culture of the Chinese people.
Right.
So learn about that. Be open for that before you come to China.
Okay.
Yeah?
So if you are to describe your experience in China in one word, what would it be?
If I look to it from a Western point of view, unbelievable. If I look to it from a Chinese point of view, comfortable.
Okay, thank you so much. And you've lived in China for so many years, over 20 years. What is one thing that you don't like about China that you wish it could be changed?
Smoking in the elevator. Oh my God, I hate that so much. I hate that so much.
I don't like that too, smoking in the elevator. Yes, right, that's right. I want to say thank you so much for talking to us and sharing your experience living in China. And I think your experience here and your story will go a long way to shape the mind of other people who are in China or who are willing to come to China for business purposes. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Kazi.